We are on the track at Del Mar. It is Wednesday of Breeders' Cup week. We've got some handicapping tips as the races kick off here, live racing Thursday at sunny Del Mar.
Yeah, and if standing in the stretch at Del Mar on a racing surface a couple of days before the Breeders' Cup doesn't get the heart pumping, this game is not for you.
One thing I noticed just standing here and seeing the horses get over the track the last couple of days, it's very quiet, right? It seems like the horses are just kind of skipping over the track, which is a good thing. It doesn't seem like it's super tiring.
It doesn't, but you know, with Del Mar, with any track, but with Del Mar in particular, because of its close proximity to the ocean, which is literally a stone's throw from us, the track is known to change quite a bit during not only the course of the day, but from morning until afternoon. You know, it could be playing completely differently. So, you know, that's something to keep in mind. You know, it seems okay right now, and the horses are getting over it pretty good. And I did, you know, share your observation that they were relatively quiet and kind of smooth as silk getting over it, most of them anyway. But that doesn't mean it's going to be that way come you know, race day.
So what we'll see tomorrow, live racing here at Del Mar, and a lot of times it seems like horse players are almost trying to be too clever, looking for a potential bias, or seeing front runners win a bunch on Thursday, or horses coming from off the pace win a bunch on Thursday, and carrying that sort of mindset, that bias into Friday and into Saturday, which can be a big mistake leading into the two biggest days of racing in the U.S.
It's a huge mistake and a common mistake, and I'll tell you, if you go back, I wrote an article, true bias versus fake bias. There's true biases and fake biases, and one of the great examples of a fake bias is the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. Not last time, the time before that, there were 2 or 3 races in the card, and every commentator on TV was like, you got to be on a lead to win. You got to be on a lead to win, and that wasn't the case at all. Okay, the horses that won the first couple of races were either only speeds. Nobody went with them. They had gone wire to wire. They were supposed to win. They were favorites. That is not a bias. People want to jump on that bandwagon. They still said it all throughout the card, even after Essential Quality won the Juvenile, I believe it was that year, from off the pace. A real bias carries horses on the lead, or even from off the pace, carries horses to a win or better performance than they would have on a fair track. And you don't know that after 1 or 2 races, and you certainly don't know it after 1 or 2 races that were won by an only speed or by a horse that had a great setup coming from off the pace. So biases, it takes several races to determine a true bias, and then they can fool you, because just when you think you have a true bias figured out, they can harrow the track and change it, like they did on Whitney Day at Saratoga, when Arthur's Ride capitalized off that very scenario. You got to be careful to label a track biased.
The other mistake a lot of horse players make, myself included, is having the same set dollar amount across all of the races over Friday and Saturday, and if you're not on the ball early, you're running out of all your money by the time you get to the end of the day, or you can't press your strongest opinions.
Again, I have the kill shot mentality. If I take, you know, 90% of my bankroll or 80% of my bankroll, and this will apply to everybody because it's whatever your individual bankroll is, I'll play it on the sequence or the race or the horse that I like best. One of the biggest mistakes that people will make this Breeders' Cup is they'll come in, they'll want to bet every sequence, every gimmick on Friday and Saturday, all dirt pick 3, all stake pick 4, all 2-day this, 2-day that. When you spread your bankroll out evenly or even close to evenly across the 2 days, it's Breeders' Cup Day. You may get lucky and hit something, but more likely, and what will happen more often over time, is the race or the sequence or the horse you like best will come up and 60 or 70% of your bankroll will be lost on horses and sequences and races that you didn't like that much. And then you're standing there saying, I wish that I had my entire bankroll to invest now in this sequence that I like most. And it doesn't have to be a sequence late in the card or late on Saturday. It could be the first race on Friday. It doesn't matter when or where it is in the sequence, but a word of advice from me would be the majority, bulk of your bankroll should go where your strongest opinion is, not spread out all over the place just for the action. The sharks devour the people that bet like that.
2 mistakes that horse players should avoid as we kick off live racing here tomorrow, Thursday, at Del Mar in the lead up to Breeders' Cup Friday, and the loaded card on Saturday. Arguably one of the best, most competitive days of racing we've probably ever seen.
Some great racing. I've got some strong opinions for. I've got some strong opinions against. Horses will humble everybody, so I'm either going to look like a star or a fool on Sunday morning or Saturday night. But we're still going to go out for a nice dinner on Saturday night, win, lose, or draw, no matter how we look. So, ciao for now.